Can you hear me clearly? I'm just, there's a massive road next to me, that's all.
Yeah, I can hear you, it's fine. It's just a bit of a delay. Cool. So the event will start bang on 10. Actually, it's starting now.
Yep.
You're live.
G'day, everyone. It's See you, buddy. Thank you. It's Dingo from Local Link Private Experiences. I don't know if you can see me. I'm going to jump on Facebook and see what's going on. We're going to get started in a couple minutes for a Facebook live tour through Balaclava. Behind me is this beautiful building, the St Kilda Town Hall. And I'm going to tell you all about this stuff in a moment. So just hang tight while we get a couple more people on. Let's get this. So we're going to get started in a couple minutes. For those that are just tuning in, it's Dingo, one of the founders at Local Link Private Experiences. We are a tour company for people that don't like tours. Now, bear with me. Oh, I can see myself. That's fun. Okay. Now I'm going to do this. Okay. To my crew watching, maybe send me text messages if you have any questions, because I can't open it here. I'll try and open it on Facebook again. Cool, so we're gonna get started in a minute now. Dingo's going to take you through Balaclava. It's on a semi-Jewish Balaclava tour, which is going to be fun. Thanks, Corinne, and thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gary. Cool, so we're just going to get started. For those just turning on Facebook right now, I'm Dingo, one of the founders of Local Link Private Experiences, along with Dan Platt. We started this business 7 years ago now because we really just wanted to create a tour company for people that don't like tours. Dan and I just didn't really like the idea of that typical touring company, and we just wanted to create something a little bit different, a little bit more fresh and fun. Today we have around 40 hosts that work for us, or did work for us, and hopefully will be again soon when this whole mess finishes. And they're all absolute legends. These are guys and girls that are they're all employed based on their personality and not on their guiding experience, because these are just really, really cool, fun, interesting people. A lot of them are our mates, and yeah, just super interesting people. I would like to start the tour by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land in which I work and live. In St Kilda, it's the Bunwurrung people. It's interesting, and I want to pay my respects to their elders past, present, and of course emerging. So like I said, I'm actually doing a Jewish tour today and a Balaclava tour, and I think that it's interesting when I talk about the Aboriginal people. And by the way, I'll see if you can see there. That's the flag just there, the Aboriginal flag. That's also the Torres Strait Island flag. But what's interesting about the link between the Jewish people and the Aboriginal people is quite an interesting. Aboriginal William Cooper And William Cooper, after Kristallnacht, which was the night of broken glass that happened in the late 1930s across Germany and Vienna and Austria, a lot of Jewish homes and shops and synagogues were destroyed, and the world knew about it. It was before the war had broken out, and unfortunately not many people did anything, except this. In Australia, certainly nothing happened except this one guy, William Cooper, and he's part of the Yorta Yorta clan, and he actually marched to the German embassy. I think it was like a 20-kilometer walk that he did in solidarity to the Jewish people of this area, and said, like, look, the German government needs to do something, needs to stop something. And I think it's a really beautiful connection that we have with the Aboriginal community and the Jewish community, and I know still to this day, and a lot of it is because of this first march that William Cooper did, but a lot of people, a lot of the community still, the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of William Cooper, they still are very present within the Jewish community. In fact, I actually saw I saw a talk in here not so long ago, and one of his family members came in and spoke about their feeling, their connection still with the Jewish community. So behind me here is the St Kilda Town Hall. And I also just like to say I've received a few comments about my hair looking amazing, and it does, doesn't it? I got my hair done at the Drunken Barber on the north side of the city. Nick, special thank you to you, buddy, if you're watching. But this is the St Kilda Town Hall. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful building, and it's a city hall. And I'm going to take you through, I'll take you actually up here, and I'll tell you some fun little bits and pieces. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much because my hair will curl. So St Kilda is East St Kilda, which is where we are, and Balaclava. It's all the sort of same little area. Where we're walking is officially Balaclava. Balaclava was actually named after the Battle of Balaclava. It was this Crimean War. And in fact, a lot of these streets in this little suburb that we're in now, this little village, were actually named after battles in Crimea. Quite interesting, like Alma, the Battle of the Alma River, the Battle of Inkerman, another street in the area. So for the locals that might recognize those street names, now you know that they're named after battles in Crimea. So I'm going to show you something really cool, just down here. So this little area here, this is another little Jewish fact for you. This little area here is paying tribute to an amazing guy called Raoul Wallenberg. Now, this guy is, you can see there's a sign there for him. I'll see if you can see it. It says, whoever saves a single life saves an entire universe. And the reason why that is put up there is because this guy was a Swedish diplomat who saved over 100,000 Hungarian Jews, which is quite amazing. He was issuing them different, in fact, this is what this is. You can see here all those little plaques on the wall. He basically gave them either like these Schwitz passes, these foreign passes, these diplomatic passes, to get them out of the country. Yeah, he's actually recognized, as you can see, all around this area, which is really, really special. And also in Israel, in Yad Vashem, the big Holocaust center there, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to show you some cool stuff as well. There's a tram for all those not in Australia. How cool is that? These trams are good because they're much more quiet than the old ones. So you can just hardly hear it. Electric trams, amazing. So, as I was saying, I love this area. I grew up in this area. Both my parents actually grew up in this area. My mum was born into like a home probably like a kilometre down that way. And my father also born into this same suburb, just a kilometre down that way. I grew up in a house a few kilometres down that way, and in fact I actually just bought my first home a few years ago, also in this suburb here, Balaclava. So I've got a strong connection to it, and there's some really cool fun little things which I will show you as we walk through it. So I thought I'd take you on a bit of a like a Jewish Balaclava tour, because you've seen some unbelievable tours by our hosts and they are such legends. For those just tuning in, it's Dingo, localing private experiences, tour company for people that don't like tours. And we just love showcasing cool, exclusive experiences and unique insight. And so, one second, let me just try and make these lights, which I'm gonna do. So, just to tell you a little bit more over, I'm gonna do illegal. Yeah, so where was I? Telling you about this amazing area. That's one of the more loud trams. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the Jewish community and Balaclava. My guides have been doing such an amazing job showing you some of these most amazing areas around the city, and I thought that I'm going to do the same in this little neighbourhood. It's a very cute little street. So a bit about the community. Melbourne's Jewish community is the largest in Australia. It's got 60,000 registered Jews in Australia, and it's actually got the largest number of Holocaust survivors per capita in the world outside of Israel. My grandfather is one of them, or was one of them. And what's also pretty cool about this community is that it's 65% of all Australian Jewish kids actually go to Jewish school, which is kind of amazing. You don't get that anywhere else in the world. It's really strong. And I think that it's a lot to do with the fact that we have so many Holocaust survivors, and you have that that guilt after the Holocaust. So yeah, we're a very strong community, and 65% of all Australian Jewish kids go to Jewish schools, and all the community are still very much involved in the community, which is pretty cool. I just wanted to take you down this little laneway here. This is, g'day mate, how are you? This is a really cool little cafe called Monk Body Dharma. It's, I'll see if you can see that there. It's a vegan fantasy one. Love it. You can get some great vegan food in there. And actually, I was just told these bluestone laneways are very common in Melbourne. And I was just told actually by a couple mates that it's a great laneway if you've got a newborn and you're trying to get the newborn to be relaxed. It's a great laneway to push the pram in because it's so and it's a great way to get the kids to sleep. So if you live locally, give it a try. Another tram, a little more loud, not the new one. Yeah, so you got me for the next probably around half an hour while I walk you through it and tell you some fun things. The street is got a few people on it, but it's normally pumping a lot more than it is at the moment for obvious reasons. The reason why I actually love this area is because it's not just, I mean, it's got like it's got a cool Jewish community, but it's a real like hodgepodge of different characters and different people that live out here. Like you've got, it's very multicultural. You've got a lot of Russians, a lot of Jewish people living out here. There's a lot of Lebanese people living around this area. There's a lot of Aboriginal people living in the area as well. But it's also got a lot of social diversity, which is really, really cool. And what I mean by social diversity is just like a couple kilometers up in front of me, behind the camera down that way, you get a lot of really beautiful homes. But St Kilda's also been known, this area, Balaclava, St Kilda, is also known for a lot of halfway houses. So people that are sort of trying to get their lives back together, you see them a lot in the streets. We'll probably see a few as we're walking. And I really love that about this area because it really creates, I feel like the freaky people really make the beauty of the world, and you get a lot in this area and it's really fun. They all sort of like meet in this little strip here, this strip of Carlisle Street, Balaclava. And the cool thing, like you can just see all around me here. And yeah, what's cool is like this area used to be like, it used to be quite, I would say like, it wasn't such an expensive area to sort of live, and a lot of artists, a lot of, in particular, poets and writers actually came through and started living in this area. You also find a lot of ultra orthodox people living in here as well, which is really, really cool. And you also have some of the best coffee shops the city has to offer, which is great. G'day. Riding his bike with his little colour in the back, super cute. I'm taking you through one of these little arcades here because this little pizza place, I found it when I was living out here. It's in the middle of literally this little nothing arcade, and a friend of mine said, yeah, you gotta try this pizza. It's one of the best wood pizzas I've had in the city. You would never think so, but check it out. Yeah, so what I was saying was I love the diversity in this area. I love the fact that you've got like new and old, you've got these total weirdos walking around, and then you've got these guys driving their, you know, Ferraris next to them, and I love the diversity. You find this across Melbourne, of course, but you really do find it here, which I think is pretty cool. I touched on some of the cafes, amazing coffee shops around here. In fact, like, dare I say it, I really think that the coffee scene was like started out here at one point. Like I think when I was around, I don't know, it's raining a bit, which is just terrific. I think I would have been around, I don't know, 17, 18, so around 15 years ago now. And all of a sudden, like 10 different amazing coffee houses just opened up in this street around here, and they're all absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have to get a coffee while on tour because I just feel like it's the right thing to do when you go to Balaclava. The cool thing is, I'm so glad this is a waterproof camera. G'day, how are you?
It's always walking around like that. It's
Yeah,
very
just,
nice.
how you going?
Good, and you?
I'm just doing a Facebook Live tour. Say hi.
Hi. I just thought you were like trying to be like super cool.
Alright,
Awesome.
and I know.
Oh, babe, like this.
Our hair looks amazing.
Yeah, go, be cool.
Nice to see you. Stay safe. So, awesome cafe right there. Another awesome cafe just over here. This is called The Wall. The Wall is a place where you'll often find my grandmother, my auntie, and my mum hanging out. As you can see up here, it was a kosher butcher at one point, but it's been converted into this funky, cool cafe where you can get some amazing Vegemite on toast if you're tuning in from America, which is really, really cool. And they've got some amazing cafes. So that one's really cool. I'm going to take you across the road and we're going to get another one. Over here. So the cafe scene is just pumping, and the thing about the cafes in Melbourne, like the coffee shops in Melbourne, people seriously, like, they treat it like football teams, you know, like you've got your one cafe that you go to and you love it. And if people turn around and say the coffee's crap there, you get really offended and you're like, what are you talking about? That's so not fair, it's the best coffee, I know the barista, I went to school with him, or I live in his building, or whatever it is. So people take it really, really seriously. You've got to remember that. I'm going to get a coffee from here. This is Las Chicas. How are you, mate? Is Todd around, by the way?
Yeah, but they have the meeting at the moment.
Okay, nice one. Well, I'm going to get a coffee because this is Las Chicas and it's absolutely amazing. Can I get a soy flat white? Yeah. If you don't mind. Thank you. And if you can tell Todd that Dingo's here, I'd love to take it out of him. Anyway, so the... How good's technology? You don't have to worry about a thing these days. Thank you. So everyone's got their favorite coffee shops, as I was just saying. This one's one of my favorites. It's been around for ages. It's called Las Chicas. There you go. And Las Chicas it was actually started by these two girls, this couple, and they they opened up this cafe. It became like an institution in this area. And then a guy that I actually live in the same building as, he took it over and he made it even better. And the coffee's absolutely amazing. Behind me here is Balaclava Station, which is really cool. For me, I feel like Balaclava, it reminds me of, if you're tuning in from America, it reminds me of it reminds me of Williamsburg in New York. It's got like these low-rise buildings. You've got a lot of like record stores and bagel shops. You've got a bit of an ultra-Orthodox community that live out here as well, which is really, really cool. And it's got a really cool, like, you know, sort of vibe, which is fun. So as we're waiting, as you can see, bagels and coffee, it's everywhere you go. So while we're waiting for my coffee, I'm just going to show you. When I was a kid, I studied for years, like a Jewish language. It's like a bit like German, written in Hebrew. Anyway, the point is that I studied it, and I remember as a kid, there were all these signs. I didn't realize until I studied it, but there were all these signs around Melbourne that had Yiddish on them, and there used to be one here. They actually just took it down not so long ago. I'm under the train station now, but there was a sign just behind me that said in Yiddish, "Don't feed the pigeons." And I think it was pretty cool that we had such a large community of Holocaust that actually. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I guess Todd's too busy, but there was such a large number of Holocaust survivors here that they actually had signs in their native language, Yiddish, all over this area. And you can still find parts of it in certain streets, but there was certainly one just here saying, "Do not feed the pigeons," in Yiddish. Now, one thing that I also will chat about is some of the amazing street art you see. Now, you see street art literally everywhere in this city, and Balaclava is certainly no exception. I'm going to show you some of my more favourite pieces. The street art scene in Melbourne's really cool because, like everywhere else in the world, it was illegal, and young people kept on doing it, and they kept on doing it on backstreet walls, and then they kept on getting sent to, like, you know, getting fined, and at worst case they'd be sent to juvenile jail. But these young artists just didn't stop, which is pretty cool. And at one point, the government turned around and said, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. What would happen if we made street art legal in Melbourne? And they opened up something like 24 laneways in the city and made it free for artists to do whatever they wanted. And all of a sudden, the scene exploded, and it became known in the top, like, 3 or 4 cities in the world known for street art, along with Detroit and Berlin. And what's really, really cool is that these artists that used to be like getting, like these artists that used to be getting fined and getting sent to jail at worst, are now getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this art that they love, which is pretty cool. And I love it because the entire city's now just looking beautiful and more colorful. And I think it's a really cool thing. Different areas of Melbourne have different artists that that sort of like they focus on that area. I remember there's this guy that like he and he paints all over St Kilda. He's got these amazing faces. Hopefully we'll find one not far from here so I can show you. I have to show you, this is Gold's bookstore. Let me just make sure you can see what I'm seeing here. This is Gold's bookstore, and you really can't do a Jewish tour without popping in to this shop here. Now, this is, g'day, how you going? Good, nice to see you. This is the wonderful, the amazing Gold's bookstore. I'm gonna put on some hand sanitizer here. It's fun. So Gold's bookstore is beautiful, and it's an institution, and whether you like it or not, when you're a 13-year-old boy and you have your coming of age party, it's called a bar mitzvah, you are guaranteed to get vouchers to this store. And either you use the vouchers on yourself or your parents use them for things that they think that they're gonna love around the home. But it's certainly a cool Aussie Jewish bookstore that sell all this really cool sort of like Jewish paraphernalia. The guys here that run it are super lovely. And I'm gonna show you my two favorite things in this store. Hopefully they're still here. What they have here, which is really cool, they've got like little little baby yarmulkes, like kippot, like skull caps, with Aboriginal prints on them, which is really lovely. And they also have some with all the Aussie football teams, which is the Australian football AFL. G'day, mate, which is really lovely. And they also sometimes, but I think they may have sold out, have the ones with the with the kangaroos and koalas. Do you guys still have them in stock?
They certainly do.
They do, and I'm going to show you them because they're super cute. Oh, there we go. And thank you very much. And what more could you want at a Friday night dinner than wearing one of these? The green and gold, beautiful. And they also have, so they've got like these like challah kavot, like these things you like the bread that you have. They have it with Aboriginal flowers on them, which is really lovely. And we're getting it shown to us right here, right now.
Aboriginal.
Thanks, mate. Do you want to tell me about Gold? How long has this been around for?
Gold's has been around since 87, since 1987.
Since 1987.
33 years.
And it's still going strong?
Still going strong.
These are all the Aboriginal print.
Serving the community. And then we have also Australian wildflowers.
And Australian wildflowers. How beautiful is that? You got to get one of them for your mum or grandmother ASAP. The other thing that I think is really classic that they have here are these little magnets, which I'll show you, which is kind of hilarious. So they've got all these little magnets that say, Australia, what a schlep. It is the truth, actually. Australia, what a schlep, and oy vey, kangaroos. Schlep, for those that don't know, is like kind of like a hassle, like a long way away. It's like when you have basketball training after school and your mum's really pissed off that she has to take you there, and she's like, oh, now I have to schlep you to basketball, and then I got to schlep you home, and that's kind of how you use it. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Gold's gorgeous place. Like I said, if you're lucky, your parents take those vouchers. So, I'm just walking down one of these little back streets of Balaclava with my coffee. A very Melbourne thing to do. This street is William Street. Actually, you're probably thinking, wow, this guy's super fit and he's got really big muscles. It all started right there. For those wondering, it all started right there. So CrossFit, it's obviously not operating right now, but really cool little gym there on this little back street. Another thing to show you is the reason why this street is so dear to me is because my best mate's got a co-working space just here called Engine House Co-working, which is really cool. Unfortunately, both our businesses aren't pumping right now due to COVID, as you can imagine. But what's really cool is it's a really fun, it's a really cool little community co-working space, and these places are so lively. These co-working spaces, but this street is normally pumping with so much activity, and unfortunately right now it's not. Nothing's really happening. It's what I love about this is the look, you got this ultra-Orthodox dude right there moving some stuff. It's a real Jewish quarter, isn't it? Also, you might recognize that SE behind me. That's my brother's business, Solution Entertainment. He's also in this street. So as you can see, this suburb is made for me. However, unfortunately, I don't live here. I live on the north side. I'll show you some more cool street art. There you go. You can see that, can't you? So like I said, like these artists come in and they decorate these entire streets and they paint the walls and they make it super pretty. Sometimes it's really, really ugly. That, and sometimes it's really, really lovely like that. But unfortunately, you're gonna have to have some bad with the good, and you're gonna have to deal with that. This is another really cute little cafe just here. G'day, how you going?
We love it.
Super cute, they love it. Can you tell us something fun about your cafe? What's your favorite thing about coming to work? The people. See, I was just saying the community. The people. Nice one. How cool is that? Yeah, I feel kind of guilty that I got another coffee, but whatever. So yeah, like I was saying, Solution Entertainment. G'day Brad, if you're watching. Cool events company. So now I'm going to walk you around some of the streets here and you get to see how the people live. So I've shown you where they shop and where they work, but now you're going to see how they live. I have to say I'm somewhat surprised that I haven't seen a family member in the street come up to me and give me a big kiss. It's very common. For those that have taken tours with me, you can probably say that you've seen it. Okay, so what we have is some of these beautiful old homes in this area. So this is a very, very, very old suburb. Most of these houses were built in the 1870s, which is, as you can see, some of the from, I'll get a little closer, but as you can see from the architecture, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I just would love to live in this area at one point. I'll get a little closer for you. See beautiful homes. It's a bit of backwards walking. Which is really, really gorgeous. How beautiful is that? So, I mentioned before about this artist Haha, who does some big beautiful faces with like these like googly sort of teeth and things like that. Well, you can still see it. I'll show you one of his famous pieces here. Try and get a good view for you. Let's see what you can see. Yeah, you can see that right there. Some really cool, quirky, different pieces of street art. which is fun. And now we're gonna continue walking under the station. G'day guys, how are ya? People going for a bike ride, super cute. So there's this next to, you can see all these beautiful, cute little homes here. These little workers' cottages at one point would have been worth nothing. And today they're worth over $1 million and well over $1 million. And that's just because the area is just becoming way cooler, and we're only like 3 stations from the city, which is pretty cool as well. It's only like a 10-minute train ride from the city. Now, this, along this station here, oh, that's the train line right here, you've got these little community gardens in St Kilda, which is really cute. Now, these community gardens are, as you can see here, they just basically, so a lot of people that live in St Kilda, they live in apartments, and they don't have, a lot of them don't have huge gardens, or if they, some of them don't even have gardens, they live in apartments. So basically the council is quite progressive, and they gave a lot of land, and you find this in various places in St Kilda, but they gave a lot of land to the community, and they divvied it up, and they pay peppercorn rent, so they pay nothing, like a couple dollars a month. It's very hard to get into these places, and you get to grow your own produce, as you can see there. And what's really fun is they have these farmers markets, and they all sort of like give each other their food that they're growing, and it's a really fun thing to see. As one of our hosts pointed out on a tour, as Dan pointed out on a tour, in St Kilda, some of them are really creative, and they've got these beautiful like pieces of art in there, and it's really fun thing. That's one of the cool things about this like this wider St Kilda area, Balaclava, East St Kilda, which is where we are at the moment. It's a really cool little community, as the locals just said when you heard from that lady. The cool thing actually about this wider area of like St Kilda, East St Kilda, is that, you know, when you go overseas and you're traveling and people are like, oh, where are you from? And you're like, oh, I'm from Melbourne. People from St Kilda actually say they're from St Kilda. Even if like they're meeting an American who's never heard of it before, they're very proud of very proud of the area that they live and they work. And in fact, a lot of people that do live and work around here don't really ever need to leave, because it's got so much here. You've got amazing theaters, you've got cinemas, awesome places to eat, cafes, coffee is key, and some really cool wine bars and places to go out, which is really fun as well. So right now we've got some really interesting looking artwork, but and we're walking next to the station, and we've got, g'day mate. Yeah. Great, cutting a tree just above me, and I'm gonna move away a little bit so it gets a little bit quieter. This is like a human koala. See that? Oh. Glad you got to see that, and I'm super glad I wasn't walking underneath it. So this little area here, I remember when I was a kid, this is like next to the station, that's the train line up there. And I remember as a kid, there was this story of someone who basically was walking through here and discovered like a ridiculous sum of money in this little like mound right here, something like $50,000 or something like this. He found a huge amount of money. And I remember being told this story, and I was like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing ever, and thinking this is like a real treasure find, you know? So I remember for years afterwards, I used to come around here and dig through here, hoping to find $50,000, but I certainly didn't find $50,000. I can certainly say I found some other things that kids probably shouldn't have been digging up, but the story ended with that guy. He gave it into the police, and no one claimed it. So because no one claimed it, he actually got the money back. How cool is that? Anyway, like I said, I didn't make my 50 grand growing up doing that. So we're just going back past the station again. You know, there's a couple train stations in Melbourne. There's a couple train stations in Melbourne that it used to bring a lot of like antisocial behavior, and they used to have like, it was like, you know, you get some dealers hanging out, g'day, you get some dealers hanging out at the stations. So at a lot of these train stations, they actually started playing opera music, which is actually no word of a lie. And it's tight in there, having a meeting. No word of a lie, there was trains in town, you can see that, train. So they would play these opera music, and that would deter antisocial behavior from these stations, and it actually works, and they still have opera music playing at a lot of these stations today. How interesting is that? So I've always wondered, like, why can't dealers like opera music? Anyway, food for thought. I just want to point out one little bar here, because it means a lot to me. There's some beautiful trees and stuff. Still got a few more minutes. How much fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross the road very carefully. So this little bar here called Pause Bar, it means a lot to me. I used to grow up going here, and I used to take my girlfriends on dates here. I know what you're thinking, wow, this, but it did happen at one point in my life, believe it or not. But regardless, this is a great local little hangout for live music, some good drinks, and again, a great little community place to hang out. Just another organic grocer. It's probably popular in every city and every suburb at the moment. It's massive in Melbourne. Everyone loves their organic and vegan stuff at this moment. Who wouldn't? Healthy. This is a really cool, I walked past here before, but I didn't tell you. This is a cool little restaurant here called Ilana Stella. And for those that don't know the story, Ilana Stella is this lady's real name. She was an Italian porn star. Her porn name was Cicciolina, and there's actually another restaurant further down the road behind me called Cicciolina, also a very famous restaurant. And her porn name was Cicciolina, and her actual name was Ilana Stella. And the story goes that she actually had a lot of relationships with some very high up people in the Italian government. And in the end, she actually became a minister for something in Italy. Isn't that interesting? Yochi, great yogurt place. Now, I'm going to be walking you down further into the Jewish Quarter. The Jewish Quarter, just so you know, we refer to it almost like it's like the Borscht Belt or the Bagel Belt of Melbourne. And as we go up this way here, behind me, it starts to get a little bit more orthodox, religious. You'll also notice that I've passed a heap of pharmacies and chemists. And that's also a sign that we're in a Jewish area. So we're going into the more religious area, and I'll show you some of the shops here. There's an amazing place to get challah, which is that Friday night sweet like brioche bread. I actually reckon it is the best in the world. I really, really do. In fact, I always take my guests through here and say, this is the best challah you're ever going to eat. So famous is this challah actually that that people used to send it from like the Jewish community from Sydney and Perth, used to get it sent to them on like a Thursday night or Friday morning, so they could have it at home in their cities. And now I think they operate in all those cities. This is Noga. It's a cool, like, kosher cafe. So they got sushi and everything in there is kosher. So it's like a religious person's dream in there. It's really, really great if you like kosher sushi. And just across the road here, which I'll show you. So we keep on zigzagging across. Hey! Good, how are you? Just across the road here, I'm doing a Facebook Live tour. You say hi. This is my gorgeous cousin, and this is her gorgeous retail outlet called Casa Mimo.
Yes.
Can you tell us something about your fashion?
Yeah. So we've been here for 10 years. I guess we've been closed for the last 2 months. It's our second day back open. But we're a family-run business. We cater for all ages, all sizes. You know, we've got, you know, comfortable clothes you can wear at home, or things if you're going out and doing now. So yeah, bunch of good stuff.
It is. I'm just going to pop in and show them some stuff. In fact, is your mum here?
No, just me.
Okay, so this is like, if it's got all this quirky, fun, really cool stuff. Also really cool if you ever want to get dressed in drag, this is where you want to come. They've got a whole room out the back dedicated for that stuff.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to continue on with my tour. But really good to see you. I give you a hug and a kiss, but probably not appropriate. But good to see you've got the hand sanitizer and all that stuff. I love you and I'll see you soon. So, told you I'd see some family. G'day. Now the cafe, you really do see them everywhere. I'll show you some of this beautiful street art in this little street here. One of my best mates just lives up here on this street. In fact, I parked at his house this morning, his and her house this morning. Their house. So some beautiful, beautiful street art. Literally on these side streets, everywhere you go, it's such a lovely, lovely little thing to see. It's so colorful, really, really cool. And I'll show you a few more little fun things in here as we cross the road. It's really quite amazing to see how many like coffee shops there are in this area. It's just unbelievable. And like I said, it really is like following a football team. People get really, really into their favorite coffee. There's one that we just passed behind me on the left. Actually, I'll show you. It's just over here where I crossed the road to see my cousin. It's called Batch, and Batch is just behind me above my right shoulder there. And dare I say it, it is actually the first place in Melbourne to do the smashed avocado on toast. Now, the smashed avo on toast is one of our biggest exports, seriously. It's massive, and now you can find it pretty much anywhere in the US as well, which is pretty cool. And the way that we do it in Melbourne, you sort of smash it with a little bit of, like feta cheese or Meredith's goat's cheese, and it's a really, really big thing to do in Melbourne. They do an amazing, amazing one, and they also do amazing coffee as well. And certainly worth trying the original, in my opinion, smashed avocado on toast, because it's really, really good. I generally get it with a bit of everything on top. Literally no joke, I get it with poached eggs and salmon and spinach and mushrooms, and literally I get everything. Anyway, Lulu and little Lulu are super cute. Another girl from the community has got this little homeware store, which is really cool. This is Gun Eden. Now, Gun Eden, again, you pop the name, for those that are watching that are Jewish would know that it's the Garden of Eden, which is really cool. This is one of my mum's absolute favorite flower shops. In fact, I come in here whenever I come to go to her place for a high Jewish holiday or a Friday night dinner. I'll pop past here, get her some flowers. The cool thing about this, I just love being in here, it smells so good. The cool thing about this particular flower shop is that they know my mum so well. So whenever I come here and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna quickly pick up some flowers they say, don't get them because your auntie just picked them up. And then I pick up another bunch and she's like, no, 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 your brother just got them. And I'm like, okay, can you just tell me what my mum wants? And she's like, yes, she said if you come in here, she wants you to buy these, which is super cute. And we've got another one here. We've got Geff and Lick, which is cool. Speaking of my mum, funnily enough, I actually just got a message from her asking if I was warm enough wearing what I'm wearing. How cute is that? And how Jewish is that? But mum, if you're still watching, I'm very warm. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. I'm 34 years old. You can stop checking. So yeah, I'm going to show you this. This is Glick's. You can't really, like, you have to see this place. This is Glick's. Now, Glick's colour is an institution. Glick's like been around. Like, you can't get in here on a Friday. Like, it is pumping. You got so many people just trying to get their challah. In fact, I'm gonna grab one now because the challah is just too good to miss. How good? A little colour. Thanks. So yeah, as you can see here, Glick's Bagels, it's seriously the best. This is the place that people would send their challah to from all over Australia, and now they are operating in so many all over. I'm just gonna devour it right now. How good is that? Challah everywhere you look, bagels. There you go, amazing.
And the receipt?
Yeah, that'd be great. So now I'm gonna have to manage to hold the challah.
Thank you, have a good day.
You too. Now I'm gonna have to hold a challah, a coffee, and the selfie stick all at the same time. How fun's that? But I will, just while I'm here, I gotta try this challah for you, and you're gonna see my expression on my face to know how good it is. Okay, ready? Such good challah. Seriously, it's amazing. But so wash it down with a bit of challah and a bit of coffee. It's seriously the best thing you could possibly do in Melbourne. So I could keep on talking if you wanted. I could keep on walking up here and showing you some synagogues. I could talk about the fact that there are 49 synagogues in Melbourne. I could tell you facts like there are 9 Jewish day schools in the city. But the truth is, they're all just facts and figures and stats. And the only way you're really going to experience Melbourne is when you one day get here and you hang out with us in Melbourne live, and yeah, you do a tour with Localing. Like I said, we are a tour company for people that don't love tours. We have 40 of the most amazing guides. We operate in Victoria, South Australia, and Tassie. And we just do some of the coolest experiences, seriously, you can do, which is a lot of fun. Seriously, you name it, we can do it. We're now gonna start pivoting towards a domestic market traveler, as you can imagine. So for those of you watching that are living interstate or looking for a really cool adventure in Tassie, South Australia, or Victoria, please hit us up. We've got some awesome guides and tours to showcase. So that's it from me. I hope you learned something new. And I hope you like my haircut. Thanks, Nick from Drunken Barber. And I love you all. Take care. And now I'm gonna try and turn this off. Okay, I'm gonna do that by trying to find how to do that. 1 second. See ya. Mwah.